Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. The Kansas City Chiefs entered this NFL season with a cloud of expectation hovering over Arrowhead Stadium. After nearly accomplishing what no franchise in history had done, 3 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, and head coach Andy Reid found themselves staring at a harsh reality in Super Bowl 59. The Philadelphia Eagles dismantled their championship dreams in a fashion that left fans and players alike stunned. The glittering idea of a three-peat, a concept so monumental that even NBA legend Pat Riley was consulted to monetize it, evaporated in an instant. Heartbreak was the theme of the offseason, but Chiefs Kingdom didn't dwell on despair for long. The singular goal for Kansas City now is crystal clear: to reclaim that Vince Lombardi trophy, to prove that the dynasty is not only alive but still capable of dominating the NFL landscape. Yet, the journey to that 4th ring in 7 seasons is anything but assured. The start of this season has been shaky, with the Chiefs standing at a modest 4-3 after 7 weeks. Critics and analysts have been quick to point out the lack of spark and consistency in the team, questioning whether the squad has what it takes to remain serious Super Bowl contenders. The remaining schedule is daunting, littered with top-tier defenses and playoff-caliber offenses, making every upcoming matchup a potential landmine. However, the core talent is undeniable, and the lessons learned from past defeats could serve as the blueprint for a championship run. The key lies in addressing some fundamental issues that have reared their head early in the season. First and foremost, Patrick Mahomes must leverage his extensive arsenal of receivers to its fullest potential. The Chiefs' offensive struggles were evident in the early weeks, exposing a lack of creativity that had been masked in previous seasons. Travis Kelce, while still an elite tight end, has not been the consistent game-changer he was expected to be. Marquise Hollywood, Brown, and Xavier Worthy have shown flashes of brilliance, but have also been maddeningly inconsistent, while Juju Smith-Schuster has often appeared more invested in trash talk than in elevating his game. The return of Rashee Rice from suspension in Week 7 was a significant boost, as he caught 2 touchdowns in a dominant win over the Las Vegas Raiders. But that performance came against one of the league's weaker offenses. The true litmus test lies ahead, when the Chiefs face elite defenses that can exploit any lapse in execution. Mahomes' ability to read defenses, adjust plays on the fly, and distribute the ball effectively will be crucial. Every pass, every route, every subtle adjustment could determine whether Kansas City maintains its status as a Super Bowl contender or slips further into mediocrity. Beyond the offensive side of the ball, the Chiefs' defense, led by Steve Spagnuolo and anchored by Chris Jones, has yet to consistently impose its will on opponents. The Week 7 performance against the Raiders was a glimpse of what this unit is capable of, shutting out an already anemic offense for all 4 quarters. But shutting down a struggling team is vastly different from stifling a high-powered, playoff-caliber offense. In the coming weeks, Kansas City will face teams like the Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos, Indianapolis Colts, and Dallas Cowboys, offenses that can score in multiple ways and expose any defensive weakness. To compete at the highest level, Spagnuolo and his staff must craft schemes that maximize Jones' disruptive potential while ensuring that the secondary and linebackers are prepared for every contingency. Failure to do so could see the Chiefs slip in the standings and lose the playoff positioning that is critical to any Super Bowl run. The margin for error this season is razor-thin. Unlike some previous years when the Chiefs could afford occasional missteps, this season demands perfection. The AFC is unusually unpredictable, with traditional powerhouses struggling and lesser-expected teams climbing the standings. Kansas City is currently trailing division rivals like the Denver Broncos and Los Angeles Chargers, making it imperative that every remaining game be treated as a must-win scenario. A single misstep could derail their post-season aspirations and put the dream of a 4th Super Bowl ring in jeopardy. The Chiefs' leadership must instill a sense of urgency and discipline in the locker room, reminding every player, from Mahomes to the rookies, that there are no easy games left on the schedule. The dynamics of this season also emphasize the need for adaptability. Mahomes, Kelce, and the coaching staff must innovate offensively, introducing new wrinkles and plays to keep opposing defenses off balance. Exploiting mismatches and leveraging the speed and agility of players like Brown, Worthy, and Rice could be the difference between narrow victories and costly defeats. On the defensive side, consistency must replace the sporadic flashes of brilliance seen so far. Chris Jones needs to reclaim the dominance that has defined his career, while Spagnuolo must orchestrate schemes that create confusion, pressure, and turnovers. Only through a cohesive effort on both sides of the ball can the Chiefs hope to regain their dominance and re-establish themselves as perennial Super Bowl contenders. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of Kansas City's championship pursuit is the mental toughness required to overcome early season adversity. The psychological scars of last year's Super Bowl loss could either serve as a motivating force or a burden weighing on the team. Mahomes, as the face of the franchise, must lead with confidence, ensuring that the team channels frustration into focus and intensity rather than self-doubt. Similarly, veteran players like Kelce must set the tone in practice, in meetings, and on game day, modeling the resilience necessary for a grueling 7-month journey to the Super Bowl. Leadership, discipline, and a relentless competitive spirit will be as critical as XS and OS in determining whether Kansas City can capture its 4th ring in 7 seasons. Finally, the Chiefs must recognize that the landscape of the NFL this year is particularly treacherous. Every opponent presents a unique challenge, and complacency can be fatal. With the playoff picture fluid and divisions tightly contested, Kansas City cannot afford to overlook any team, no matter how weak they may appear on paper. Each week is a battle that tests physical endurance, strategic ingenuity, and mental resolve. To win consistently, the Chiefs must combine their talent, coaching acumen, and sheer willpower, leaving nothing to chance. Every touchdown, every defensive stop, and every crucial adjustment becomes part of the mosaic that could ultimately lead them back to the pinnacle of professional football. In conclusion, while the Kansas City Chiefs' start to the season may have been underwhelming, the path to a 4th Super Bowl in 7 seasons remains attainable, but only through a meticulous, disciplined, and inspired approach. Patrick Mahomes must exploit the depth of his receiving core to maximize offensive output. Chris Jones and Steve Spagnuolo need to elevate the defense to a level that can stifle the league's elite offenses. And the entire team must treat each remaining game as a must-win scenario, avoiding any lapses that could compromise their playoff position. If the Chiefs can synchronize these elements, harness their immense talent, and channel last year's disappointment into determination, there is every reason to believe that Kansas City can once again hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy, solidifying a dynasty that, despite early setbacks, continues to define excellence in the modern NFL. The journey will be difficult, the challenges formidable, but for Mahomes, Kelce, Jones, Reed, and the rest of the Chiefs, history is still within their grasp, and the kingdom awaits the crowning moment that could etch this team into the annals of football legend forever. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. The NFL world is buzzing like never before, and you won't believe what just dropped. Patrick Mahomes. Yes, the Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback whose name alone sends shivers down defenses, just spoke out in a way that nobody else in the league has dared to. And when I say nobody, I mean every analyst, coach, and veteran player has been cautiously tiptoeing around this subject for years. But Mahomes, he didn't just tiptoe. He dropped a bombshell, and it's shaking the very foundation of the NFL. The Chiefs, the team that already dominates headlines with their explosive offense, just got an endorsement from their own star that could make the rest of the league sweat bullets. Mahomes didn't just talk about winning games, he talked about conquering everything this season. And when I say everything, I mean the ultimate goal, the Super Bowl. Forget predictions. Forget speculation. This isn't about hope or hype. It's coming straight from the guy who's been rewriting quarterback history every week. Now, imagine the scene. Cameras flashing, reporters leaning in, every word Mahomes says dissected, and he leans forward with that calm, almost smug confidence that he's become famous for. And then, with a voice that carries the weight of decades of football wisdom and the energy of someone who truly believes in destiny, he says what no one else in the NFL has had the guts to admit out loud. This year, the Chiefs are going to win it all. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're coming for everything. That's right. No vague optimism, No cautious predictions. Straight-up domination. The kind of statement that makes fans cheer and rival teams panic simultaneously. And it's not just words. It's the kind of confidence that changes the narrative before the season even hits full stride. You can feel the shockwave already. Social media is exploding, locker rooms are whispering, and the league is quietly reassessing every strategy because Patrick Mahomes has officially declared war on the NFL. What makes this statement even more insane is the timing. The Chiefs are coming off a season where they were already favorites, but Mahomes' comments take the conversation to a completely new level. Analysts are scrambling, trying to decode whether this is just confidence or a psychological masterstroke meant to unnerve the competition. Some say Mahomes has always had this aura, this uncanny ability to intimidate without throwing a punch. But this is on another plane. By openly stating that his team will win it all, he's not only rallying his own squad, but also planting a seed of doubt in every other locker room from Kansas City to the East Coast. Imagine being a defensive coordinator or a rival quarterback, hearing that the face of the Chiefs franchise is so openly convinced of victory. It's the kind of statement that can tilt the balance before the first snap. And knowing Mahomes, there's a real chance he can back it up. The man doesn't just talk. He delivers, week after week, in high-pressure games where legends are made and broken. And let's not overlook the chemistry surrounding him. The Chiefs' roster is stacked, no doubt, but Mahomes' leadership takes it to an entirely different level. You talk about confidence, you talk about skill, but Mahomes brings a level of strategic brilliance and instinctual playmaking that the NFL has rarely seen. Receivers adjust their runs based on his glance. Linemen protect like he's the crown jewel of the franchise, which, of course, he is, and the entire offense flows like a finely tuned machine. Now, add Mahomes' public declaration to that mix. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire that was already blazing. Rumor has it, the team has been training with a renewed sense of purpose ever since this statement leaked. The drills aren't just about conditioning. They're about reinforcing the mentality of champions. And if the whispers are true, the Chiefs' locker room has gone into overdrive, motivated by a quarterback who's not just playing the game, but rewriting its narrative for everyone else. The implications for the rest of the league are staggering. Teams like the Bills, the Ravens, and even the 49ers are suddenly under pressure that goes beyond XS and OS. The psychological warfare starts before the coin toss, and Mahomes is leading that charge with surgical precision. Rumors are circulating that rival coaches are holding emergency meetings, trying to figure out how to counter a team whose quarterback is essentially broadcasting the inevitability of victory. It's bold, audacious, and a little bit terrifying if you're on the other side of the field. Some analysts have even speculated that Mahomes' confidence could redefine how players approach preseason training, with younger quarterbacks looking at him as a blueprint for not just playing football, but owning it. The chatter is everywhere, from sports radio to TikTok highlight reels, and it all centers on one phrase that has become the talk of the NFL. The Chiefs are going to win everything this year. And coming from Mahomes, it's not just a statement, it's a prophecy. What's fascinating is the ripple effect. Fans are going wild, naturally. Chiefs jerseys are flying off the shelves, social media threads are exploding with predictions of record-breaking plays, and highlight compilations of Mahomes' career are being shared more than ever. But it's not just fans who are reacting. Commentators, analysts, and former NFL stars are weighing in, some praising Mahomes' leadership, some questioning if this level of confidence could backfire. After all, the NFL is unpredictable. It has a history of humbling even the greatest players. Yet there's something in the way Mahomes carries himself that makes it hard to imagine failure. Perhaps it's the calm under pressure, perhaps it's the chemistry with his teammates, or maybe it's just the fact that he has consistently turned impossible situations into spectacular victories. Whatever it is, it's clear that Mahomes has positioned himself not just as a contender, but as the centerpiece of a narrative where the Chiefs are unstoppable. And let's not forget the media frenzy. Every outlet is trying to dissect this. Every pundit is analyzing whether this is confidence or hubris, and every headline screams variations of Mahomes declares dominance. But here's the thing. Nothing in Mahomes' career suggests he's bluffing. This isn't a PR stunt or a motivational soundbite. This is Patrick Mahomes, speaking with the weight of experience, talent, and an almost unearthly understanding of the game. The rumor mill is in overdrive, with whispers of record-breaking plays, historic comebacks, and even MVP-level performances being thrown around. And while the rest of the league scrambles to respond, Chiefs fans are quietly savoring the moment, knowing their quarterback just made a statement that could define an entire season. In the end, what Mahomes said might just be the most important sentence in NFL history this year. The Chiefs are going to win it all, a sentence that carries more weight than a trophy, more influence than any coaching strategy, and more drama than any off-season rumor. It's bold, it's fearless, and it's exactly the kind of statement that keeps the league on edge, fans glued to every broadcast, and sports media scrambling for commentary. The Chiefs are no longer just a team with potential. They are a team with a mission, guided by a quarterback whose confidence is contagious, whose skill is undeniable, and whose voice just shook the entire NFL to its core. This isn't hype. This isn't rumor. This is Patrick Mahomes telling the world, the league, and anyone who doubts him that the Kansas City Chiefs are coming for everything. And if history has taught us anything, when Mahomes says it, you better believe it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.